And the Singapore Grand Prix is underway.
Hey, I'm Serenity, and welcome back to another episode of Pit Stop Sweet and Treats, where we bake a dessert every race weekend, inspired by our hosting country. Welcome to Round 18 in Singapore. Today we are making Sugee cake, which is a butter cake with egg whites like a meringue. Let's learn about the history of the dessert while we make our cake. So in a large bowl, I'm going to start with 250 grams of softened butter. To this, we're going to add 130 grams of caster sugar, which is just regular granulated sugar. We're going to whip this on high for about 3 minutes, putting it into our bowl. So Sugee is also known as semola cake because of the flour we're going to use. We're using a lot of flour, actually. And it's very popular in Malaysia and Singapore and Sri Lanka, but it's thought to have been originated in India. It's also known as Sugee cake in the Middle East, where semola flour is used in many desserts. The cake was brought to various regions during the 20th century, including Singapore, where it quickly became a household staple. In a way, you can say this cake was brought over to other countries by an immigrant from India. Okay, now that this is nice and smooth, I have 6 egg yolks. Don't worry, the egg whites are over there for an omelet. We're going to slowly add these one at a time. The cake was altered with local flavors such as pandan leaves and coconut milk. And can I just say, I originally was going to make a pandan chiffon cake, but I cannot find the leaves anywhere. So we're going to have to table that for another day. So Singaporean Sugee cake is similar to Malaysia's version, but one has raisins and dried fruits, and this one sometimes has pandan, which I cannot get my hands on, or else we'd have a pandan cake this week. I checked 3 local Asian markets for it. So let's learn some track history and facts while we continue this cake. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give this a good mix. The first Grand Prix was held in 1966, but kept in dispute until 1997 at the no longer in existence Thompson Road circuit. Now, here comes the fun part. We're going to add 40 grams of super fine cake flour, 120 grams of Sugee flour, semola flour, and 120 grams of ground almond, which is almond flour. And then we're going to give this a really good mix until it's super combined. Now, this is known as the original street night circuit. The only other one I can think of on the calendar right now is Vegas. That happens at night. So this is the original, and it's the most well-known street circuit. It was held first in 2008 at the Marina Bay Circuit, but was canceled in 2020 and 2021 due to COVID. Also, it's one of the hottest races of the year, and this year the drivers are allowed to drive with a cooling vest on, but we need to discuss why are we having this race at this time or time of the year, because the drivers are on the brink of heat exhaustion. And also, why would you make a sprint race at this one next year? Quick facts: the circuit is 4.927 kilometers in length and has a total of 62 laps. When the race is complete, the drivers will have traveled 306.28 kilometers in distance. The current lap record is held by Daniel Ricciardo from his 2024 lap at 1 minute 34 seconds, 0.486 hundredths of a second. And it's actually like that point, the fastest lap point that kept Norris from the championship, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. So it is well mixed. Now we're going to cover it with a clean dish towel and let it rest for 2 hours. Why? I have no clue. There's no yeast, there's no baking soda in here that would need it to rise, but that's what it says we have to do, so we're going to do it. It's been 2 hours. The oven is preheating to 350. We're going to make our meringue while we talk about this week's news. Now, you may have noticed there was not an episode last time. I accidentally deleted the footage of the overhead camera. If I had deleted this footage, I can just voice over everything, but I deleted the camera footage. I accidentally merged both cameras' footage, and the footage that got erased was the overhead camera that you are watching right here. So I did make the dessert, and I thought it would have been a really funny episode because I slowly lost my mind for about an hour, and the dessert was okay. But yeah, that's what happened. Very disappointed because I don't want to miss any of these. Anyways, we're going to talk about news. So there's like some back and forth news that I had last week. So I have 2 egg whites here. We're going to whip them, but Will Buxton admitted that he lied last year during the 2024 championship about Norris having a chance because it was better entertainment, even though it led to a lot of bullying for Norris. But, you know, if it makes entertainment, it's fine, right? Norris and how he is treated in media stating this is now a battle between Oscar and Max for the championship, totally discounting him. I see that a lot. I'm not gonna lie. This is being filmed after the race and everything that happened. Yeah, I think Oscar gets away with a lot of things, and there's a whole, I can write about so much about it because he has this ice cold persona, and Norris is not allowed because it is more in touch with his emotions per se to the media front facing. I think that's something I'd like to get into, not this episode, but maybe next episode. Also, it was really funny during FP2 that Ferrari was pushing the McLaren. I'll put the screenshot that I took after Charles tapped Norris and put him kind of into the wall, that they helped to roll him back into the garage. And I was like, yeah, they probably would do a better pit stop for Norris than his own crew. Like, we need to replace them now. Okay, so nice and frothy. I had 20 grams of caster sugar, again, granulated sugar. And we're just going to mix this until a nice meringue comes out and that you should reach stiff peaks. It'll be nice and glossy. I've seen a lot of people online discussing how F1 TV has to stop cutting to the garage when there are cars on track. And honestly, it's so true, especially watching. They would cut to family members and any random people in the garage when critical things are happening on track. That needs to stop. I think the direction of F1 TV this year has been so bad. That team needs to be overhauled, especially with them saying they want to cut races shorter and add more sprints. They obviously don't know their audience. So they really need to work on that, especially because I'm paying like $13 a month for it. And the biggest news is that Roscoe, Lewis Hamilton's dog, did pass away after 12 years. If Lewis wanted to take the rest of the year off for that grieving, I would totally understand, because that is so hard. Losing a pet, if you never had like your soulmate in the form of a pet, losing them is really, really, really hard. The love of my life, Scarlett, wherever she is, anytime she's had to go under for anesthesia for any reason, I'm a wreck. I can't even think about losing her right now, and she's barely 7. So I think we lost a pillar of the F1 community, but also how hard that was. I can't imagine how he just is back up unless he's compartmentalizing it. When I lost my childhood dog due to old age, she was 16. She was only supposed to live till 12. That was hard. And I picked myself up and I kept going, and I never really gave myself time to grieve. So I can't imagine losing Scarlett right now. Can cry thinking about it. So let's get into feminism and the hosting country's history. It's time to get a little dark, but as a woman in motorsports, you should be used to that. I'm reading this book on sports tourism called Faster. Yes, I said I'd be done with it, but I am reading dystopian novels currently, and how it's used to disguise horrible things happening in certain countries, which buckle in for Texas. Next race. My degree is also in women, gender, and sexuality studies, so I thought I'd bring my educational background into this series and talk about something very important to me. So our peaks are stiff, so we're going to move on while we talk. Our batter has rested for 2 hours, and in 2 to 3 sections, we're going to gently fold in our meringue. So we're going to do kind of like a very brief history. In the past 50 years, women have been granted much progress to equality, but it still is very divided due to being a very patriarchal society. Singapore gained their independence from Malaysia 60 years ago, which plays very much into the statistics because technically it is considered a very new independent country. A 2024 study showed that 62% of Singaporeans believe gender equality has gone too far, and men are concerned of how it's going to affect them personally. 24% deny the existence of gender inequality and claim feminism is doing more harm than good. 19% claim that violence against women is provoked by the victim. It is their fault because they asked for it. 15% of men say it's okay to send unsolicited explicit images to women, and 39% believe that women overreact to the photos they didn't ask for. 42% of the workforce is made up by women, but a majority occupy low or entry-level positions. I also did see a lot of TikToks a while back of how equal wealthy Singaporean women mistreat their au pairs who are from other countries, specifically like India. And it's an interesting topic to look deeper into. I just didn't have time to do it, and that's not what this video is about per se, but I will research it. So our dough is nicely mixed. Now I have a lined baking sheet with some parchment here, and we're just going to put this in. It's really thick, so I think it's going to have like the consistency of a cornbread, which I really hope it does because I love me cornbread. So I just pressed it into each of the corners evenly. It's not 100%, but it's going to work. Singapore is ranked 48 out of 146 on the 2024 Global Gender Gap Index. So not best, but like better than we've seen some countries. So I'm going to bake this in the oven at 350 for about 50 minutes. If it is browning too fast, cover it with foil and take it out once you can poke the center with a toothpick and it comes out clean. From there, I'm just going to rest it on a cooling rack for about 30 minutes before I'm back so we can serve. Our cake is done. It rested for 30 minutes. Now I'm going to cut it using a bread knife before we try it. I did kind of crack it already on accident, so here they are. They do cut like cornbread, so let's see. Let's give it a taste test. Babes, that's Texan cornbread in the best way possible. I know it's probably not like the correct thing. I'm gonna put some Texas honey on this. and I'm going to probably make some vegan chili. This is phenomenal and use it as cornbread, even though it's not. I'm going to have to give this a 9 out of 10. Giant lizards. We did not see the giant lizard this year, but it would be a 10 if I put honey on it. But I'm not going to do that because I didn't see any variation with honey. But God, it's good. So quickly, we're going to do race predictions, even though it's after the race. I'm still going to tell you exactly what I wrote down 2 days ago during FP1 and FP2. And I'm going to say Russell wins, Norris P2, and Verstappen P3. Those last two need to be switched for me to be correct. So quickly, we're going to do some memes. Some of these are of the paddock cat in Baku named Matcha that I never got to show you because I deleted that footage. One is of Zach Brown, and the other one is going to make me cry. And I actually am going to have to change the audio because it's a song and I don't want to be demonetized. So,
who's the best dog dad?
I guess Lewis did start that a bit.
I think Lewis is the most experienced.
I guess Lewis. He has a long history of being a dog dad.
I think Lewis.
I feel like Lewis is probably the best dog dad.
Representation of the average white American man. He actually sometimes I think is doing it like he's almost like a caricature in a way. Like he's sometimes almost overdoing it. Like that video where he's speaking Italian. I read a dirt sheet. You don't even have that accent in English. You don't have that like, little southern twang he just threw in there. What the fuck? And I understand when you like speak a different language, you try to like use the accent that's like fits the words kind of. These people are differently. But where the fuck did that come from, Zach? I read a dirt sheet. El Pressimo. No. Shine Piste. What? That was Italian or English. I'm willing to bet my life savings that man has like a McLaren T barbecue. You know, it's so fucking American. He's the type of dad I would expect to see at the average high school football game. You know, it's like his son's the quarterback or some shit. And his son like does a touchdown or some shit. He's like, yeah, that's my son. He's a big bear hug. I can find you 10 Zach Browns right now. I just don't have the money. Like, even down to the way people think he's a team principal, he's always fucking acting like a team principal, and like how he's going, like, you know, like team principal talk. Why was he there? You literally don't have the qualifications. Like, that is so football dad coded. American high school football dads. That was a lot of words. I don't have them in the correct order. Love to act like they're the coach because their son, you're not using my son's skills right, Paul. Like, they could go into it. That's literally Zach Brown and his son's Landon Norris. End of story. Unfortunately, Zach Brown.
That's so true because for the longest time, I honestly thought Zach Brown was from the South. The most Southern thing is he probably loves college football. I thought he was from the South. He sounds like he's from the South. Also, it's the most Southern thing because I do it too, is to own a husky. He owns 2 huskies. Why do we own huskies? Anyways, here's some more of paddock cats. I need a cat so bad. And a couple more. And that is all I have for you. I will see you in a couple weeks for my birthday weekend and my home state race in Austin with another authentic dessert, a Southern dessert that is tried and true in my household. Love you, kisses, and I'll see you then. Bye.
And it's lights out.